Hello everyone and welcome to my show, FitLife, Healthy Mind and Body. My name is Natalia Kotowska and I will be your host. This is the UK Health Radio, the world's #1 talk health radio. With over 13 years of international experience in sport and fitness, years of study, I would like to share my experience, knowledge, and most importantly, my endless love and passion for living a healthy lifestyle for my mental and physical well-being. On this show, we will be talking about fitness, sport, healthy living, nutrition, fitness facts, and more. We will be answering your questions, we will have guest speakers, and what's most important, we will exercise together. Yes, you heard me right. In every episode, we will have a healthy dose of exercises that we will do together. So we won't just talk about fit life, we will actually experience the fit life together. Are you ready? Then let's go. And today, as promised, part number 2 of my amazing interview with Hester about how to be a happy woman. My path to my inner peace. How to find it. Marriage, friendships, partnership, motherhood, you name it, are all wonderful relationships, but they're definitely hard work. Even a happy woman might feel that she's losing her identity or sense of self in this extremely busy and constantly changing world. All roles we accept as a woman, either is to be a mother, partner, a daughter, or a professional, can be very satisfying. And it's easy to get caught up in them when there's so much going on. Motherhood, after all, is a whirlwind. Even the best marriages, relationships require some effort and maintenance. So with all this going on, how do we make time for ourselves and figure out how to truly be happy as a woman? Happiness usually involves what we want for ourselves and how to work towards this. Maybe you want more time to dedicate to your hobbies, or perhaps you're single and looking for a new relationship. No matter what you want from life, the way of the happy woman is to figure out her own unique needs. Today we're speaking with absolutely extraordinary woman. I would call her a superwoman, Hester. She's a mother, she's a partner, she's a sister, she's a daughter, she's extraordinary professional who dance on the international fitness arenas, perform at the MTV Europe Awards, Royal Opera House, and more. She was a part of City Street Steppers, trained to be a circus aerialist. She was mentored and managed by her fitness entrepreneur mother, Hester Campbell. Hester, welcome to the show.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
How good are vitamin C supplements? Usually only a small proportion of vitamin C actually reaches your cells and has a positive effect. Whereas the high absorption levels of Goldman Laboratories liposomal vitamin C help maintain optimal vitamin C levels in your body and strengthen your immune system. Now get 10% off when you choose Goldman Laboratories liposomal vitamin C capsules. Just quote 10 off at goldmanlaboratories.com.
Do you suffer from pain? B-Cure Laser, a home-use CE-approved medical device for the effective treatment of pain, is now available in the UK. The results of a double-blind trial has shown that B-Cure Laser offers a significant reduction in pain compared to the placebo group. To get your special B-Cure offer now, call free on 0808 501 5122 or Google Radio Pro London. B-Cure Laser.
B-Cure Laser.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
self-acceptance, self-love, self-compassion, self-kindness. How to do it? How to find that strength, because it takes enormous strength and a little bit of selfishness, but the healthy portion of it, to go and search for it, find it, and take care of it. I mean, it's all surrounding, we speak about it now already, I just wanted to maybe highlight it a little bit more for people who are really listening for the keywords.
First of all, I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers because I'm trying to figure it out too. Believe me. But you said things that quite often become my focus. Like one of those things you said, kindness, self-kindness, being kind to yourself.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the class, when I teach yoga, I invite people. Again, it's not an instruction. I invite people to set an intention or a focus. So I think, like a week ago, a couple of weeks ago, my intention was kindness, being kind to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And just setting it as an intention means that it kind of, it's like a filter that I put over all my actions and my movements and my breath, so that I am not in competition with anything. You know how we said, how do we get out of that competitive thing of like having something to prove? But it almost makes me go, oh, what does kindness feel like? How does it feel in my body to be kind to myself? And then the yoga practice has that kind of feeling or flavor to it. Kindness is a big one. It's a really big one. And it might include noticing when the little gremlin voices take over, like, you're not enough, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And the kind thing to do would be, thank you feet, thank you knees, thank you thighs, thank you to my liver and my kidneys. It's a really simple thing, is to give thanks to your body. Thank you to my digestive system. Thank you to my blood and my capillaries. So that's another like actual real thing that I will do when I'm feeling, overwhelmed, is being very thankful. And again, I try and bring that into my yoga classes when I'm saying my stuff as I'm teaching. I don't even know what I'm saying half the time, just so you know, Natalia. Like, I try it.
Well, it works. If it works on me and I'm a tough one, then I'm doing a great job. It works.
But I think at some point in my teaching journey, I had to go into this place of radical trust. Because yoga had been so transformative for me, I had to trust that I could facilitate that for others by somehow relaxing into what I was doing enough that all those little gremlin voices would just disappear. Mm-hmm. And then I was essentially tapping into this wisdom that is there for all of us to use. I mean, I know we're talking about yoga again, but
that's okay.
It's timeless. Like, we don't even know how old yoga is. And the ancient texts, which includes the yoga sutras and the Upanishads, and it is all, there's so much common sense in it. It's very beautiful, and there's imagery sometimes, but like yoga sutras, for example, some of that is just really good common sense. And when we are lacking elders, like, we don't have a lot of elders. We don't live in villages anymore. So when we're in a crisis, who do we turn to? We don't necessarily have that elder that we can go to for like really sage and sound advice. So this one thing from the sutras, and I'm simplifying it massively, but it's about having keys to peace of mind. And it talks about these 3 keys. So when someone is happy, be happy for them. When someone is suffering, and that one about be happy for them, that's a tough one, right? Because most of us go into jealousy, comparison. If someone else is succeeding, you feel like you're failing, but it's real. Like, if they seem happy, be happy for them. Like, poof, peace of mind. Mm-hmm. The second one is when someone is suffering, have compassion, but it doesn't tell you to fix it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not your problem to fix. Like, have compassion. And then the third one, and I don't know how to rephrase it because it's quite old-fashioned language. It's like if someone is doing evil, disregard them because it's not for you to judge. And it's from Hinduism, so it talks about God, and it's like it's for God to judge, it's not for you to judge. But again, it's something about like, don't let your ego take over and think that you're the one that needs to pass judgment on this person. It's not for you. It's
or
not for
even
you to
fix. We think sometimes fixing is the good that we do. Not necessarily. Just because, the fixing is the positive term and evil, we connected with the negative term. That doesn't mean we should do either or, If they ask us to help, then sure, serve them with your knowledge, with whatever you can, but never, ever take something away from yourself in order to fix. That might be your husband, that might be your mom, that might be your child. Serve them, help them if you can, but do not forget about yourself, that you cannot lose yourself on that journey, on that path.
Yeah, exactly. And it also is taking something away from their own empowerment. So the reason why that really, really helped me is I remember my partner at the time was quite depressed, and I was always trying to fix it. And I would say, like, well, why didn't you do this? Or why didn't you do that? Now, how he received all of this was I was nagging him and always telling him what to do. And when we go back to the thing of like relatedness, autonomy, and competence, if he's not autonomous and making his own choices, he's going to feel like crap all the time. So I thought I was helping by saying, well, go do that job, or retrain, or do this, or do that. And it would just stress him out. Like, it's not my problem to fix. I can have compassion for his situation. It's not mine to fix. Mm-hmm. So can that give me kind of rest in a way and peace of mind? Can I stop obsessing over his problem? Yeah, it can. And maybe that need to fix others all the time is somehow a distraction from actually looking within and doing our own, work to feel enough, to feel completed. I know that very well because in my relationships, when I look at friendships and, romantic relationships and with my family, I only feel useful when I'm needed, I only feel like I have worth when they need me or I'm useful for something. And that's terrible. That's so transactional. It's like, no, I have worth whether I'm running your errands or not running your errands for you.
Yeah, and I think we all struggle. Well, majority of people struggle with this. I catch myself doing the same thing. But you know what? Coming back to this word kindness, I found kindness for myself extremely difficult task to do. Kindness for me means kind of different type of work. So kindness means for me going to yoga, but the yoga is not something that I would choose because it doesn't give me that reward feeling in terms of achievement. But there is this achievement because I'm thinking, look how much good you put into your body, what you do for yourself. So kindness for me is extreme work. How funny that sounds. It's extremely hard work to be okay with my body. Now I'm going to go through a knee surgery and thinking, and I'm upset. What I'm upset about? This is my body. I should give it the most love, rest, peace, patience, because it's my own body. And I'm upset with my body, with myself. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able, and going around and crying that I will have to be 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months out. Why? Because I'm trying to fix something in my body that's been kind enough for me to work through 34 years of my life. And now I just need to support it.
That's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. Patience.
Patience is the key in everything, isn't it? So how to discover, or if you have forgotten about it, rediscover yourself when you feel lost? We do talk about it in between words, but if you have like few tips.
Well, we need quiet time. I find that really hard. I think the quietest moments I have is when I'm in transit, going from one place that I have to be to the other place that I have to be. And that is not even quiet.
Apart from being quiet on the tube, public transport, or surrounded by 100 million people. We're very quiet, my girl.
It's not even quiet. Sometimes my quiet time is sitting down to go to the loo. Literally. And even then, at home, I still have the kids coming into the bathroom and asking me things, or always having a bath. But and not having the phone, not looking at news feeds. So it's trying to create a little protection around us for a moment where there's nothing coming in. And I think that what you're describing about your yoga class experience is probably that, It's the quiet time, even though it's not quiet. There's music on, there's me talking, but because in a way that has protected you for a moment from some of those other like obtrusive thoughts that you might have, which is like, are you enough? What are you achieving? Have you proven yourself yet? It's going away. And actually, at the end of yoga practice, it's really important to create that quiet time for people. We don't have long enough usually, but it can be like 15, 20 minutes of quiet. And that's so nourishing. That's so nourishing. Like that is the good stuff right there. I don't find that I have 20 minutes in my life in general, and that makes me kind of sad. I'm trying to carve it out. This is what the course I'm doing now is gonna help me to do. But we've got to stop making the excuses why we're not doing it. We've got to stop making those excuses. It's like first aid, right, on ourselves, or it's like putting the oxygen mask on first for ourselves. Because we can't help, and I've been told this for like a lot, particularly in the last 2 months, put that oxygen mask on first. How are you going to help anyone if you don't have your basic needs met? Mm-hmm. And it's a painful experience to acknowledge that I don't know what my needs are most of the time. Like that's sad. I feel sad for myself. That's really sad. I don't even have a bed to sleep in. I mean, my partner is in the bedroom, and if we're arguing, I don't want to go and sleep in there. And I end up sleeping on the bunk bed with my kids. Like, I don't even have room to stretch out and sleep comfortably. Like, that's mad. That's nuts. I'm really enjoying watching Queer Eye, and they do these interventions in people's lives. And they did this intervention in Japan with this woman who turned her house into a hospice where people can die peacefully, because her sister died in a hospital, and she got very heartbroken by that there was no one there holding her hand or loving her or watching over her. So she's turned her house into a hospice, and she was sleeping under the table in the kitchen. She didn't even have a bed, or she would sleep in the doorway of the patients that she was caring for. She didn't even have a bed to rest her bones. So we need to rest our bones, we need to lay our head down sometimes, take the weight out of our body. And I know we have talked about yoga a lot on this call, because it does that for us. It's a vehicle to find that rest. And sometimes you can't find the rest until you do the action first, which is why we have the physical practice, the asana. But it's really the juicy nourishment, that most important part of that experience is the rest and the stillness and letting go of this weight and burden that we might carry around.
You're a woman, you're a mother, you're a working mother, a partner, daughter, sister, like you mentioned. Which of those roles you found perhaps the most challenging?
I think it's definitely the mother, because those other roles, like, right, to be fair, I've got 6 sisters. I've fallen out with one of them, and this is something that haunts me every day, but like, we're not speaking. I've kind of just gone like, I can't deal with you. Like, I will love you from afar, and you need to sort out your problems, but I can't do that with my children. I can't go, I'm going to have a holiday from being a mother. I just don't fancy being a mother for a little while. it's constant, right? And even when I'm getting everything wrong, I'm still being a mother. Like, I can't take a holiday from it. It's exhausting, and I get it wrong a lot. And it's such a massive responsibility. Like, I'm responsible for how these people turn out and how they cope in the world and how they react to others and how they love themselves. All this stuff that we're talking about now. If I don't deal with my issues, they're going to inherit my issues. So the mother is the most important, or most difficult role for me, but it's also this huge gift. So actually, I'm going to share something else. So I've had this real issue with taking care of myself, putting myself first, like, no, something else is important. And then in a conversation very similar to this, it suddenly hit me like, ding, if I don't, I'm messing up my kids. If I don't take care of myself, then that's going to harm them. And then it was like, it's a no-brainer. I've got to take care of myself. It's still a little sad for me that it's not like, it's important to me, so I'm going to do it. Like, no, it's important to them. But that's enough. That's still going to get me to the end goal. If that's going to get me to the end goal of taking care of myself without making up excuses for why I can't, then that's fine. It'll be a step in my journey. But we don't have villages, right? We were evolved to be in a village with like children being looked after by many, many adults. It wasn't always one parent or two parents. If we're lucky, in today's society, there's two parents, if we're lucky. But you're in the four walls, you're cut off from community. You probably don't live near aunties, uncles, grandmas, grandpas, nieces, nephews. Like, we are communal animals, and we're supposed to live in this communal way. And children are supposed to know that lots of different adults in their life are safe and will give them love and support and meet their needs. But instead, this whole nuclear family that we have, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You have very stressed out parents and children really confused, going like, well, I've just asked for this because I need it. And then an overtired, highly strung dad or mum going, I can't deal with you right now. It's a real problem. It's a real problem. So I'm trying to, again, learn from where I see it role model to be, or demonstrate to me, that we need a village, and we can create that village, and we can hopefully be there for our friends when they have their children and say, look, I want to be part of your village. I have people doing it to me and I turn them away. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm dealing with it. Like, the truth is I'm not. I need the village. I need to be able to adopt aunties and uncles into my life for my children. And also there are these high expectations, like you all the competitive stuff that we've been talking about. You put that onto your kids as well. Like, you want them to win and be the best. It's like, win at what? win at a race, win at a competition, win at a test, or just win at life and loving life and being themselves. But if we can't figure out what that is for us, like, how do I be my best self? Then I don't know how to demonstrate, role model it to my children.
Yeah. So you're saying being a mother definitely is the most challenging of all of them.
Yeah, it's the thing that I can't afford to mess up. And like, if I mess up in my job, there'll be some bad repercussions, or I might lose some relationships, I might lose friendships, I might, lose relationships with my family. But when you're the parent, the children see you in this kind of celestial form, like you're more than human, like you're the god. I don't know if you remember that about being a kid with your parents, like they're larger than life, right? They're like gods. Yeah. And the truth is, they're just people who make mistakes. They're people, no one knows what they're doing. The truth is, no one knows what they're doing when they're a parent. They just try and do their best. And one book I read by Oliver James, I remember it just says, you're going to get it wrong. You need to be good enough, just good enough. You won't achieve more than that. That's the best. The best that you will achieve is to be good enough. So maybe that's actually the answer about being me as well. Because there's no such thing as perfection. What's the standard of perfection that we're all trying to like battle to attain? It's being good enough. Being good enough that we can look in the mirror and live with ourselves and sleep at night.
So how not to lose yourself, not to forget about yourself in today's constantly changing world? How to keep that, a little bit of sanity?
I'm going to go back to this curiosity thing. So, can we stay curious? And I was exploring this relationship to pain when I was preparing for my third child to be born, because there's this whole kind of movement which is fear-free birthing, and that fear, again, we're talking about the hormones in the brain or whatever a bit earlier, but fear does something to our brain, and it regresses the brain. Like it means that we can't use all of the brain. So we go into regression when we're in fear. I don't know if I'm sure you know what this means. Like when we have sensations in the body, and we label them like that's good, that's bad, or that's painful. That it's like stretching, right? We know what stretching feels like. We don't label it as a pain that is going to harm us. However, it takes a lot of experience to get there. When we overstretch and we tear the muscle too much, we've gone into harming ourselves. We can't recover, or it takes us days or weeks. If you've overstretched, you basically, it's a strain. So it's the same thing. It's like if I feel period cramps, but I get curious about what is this feeling like, what is this sensation, I might actually notice that it's the sensation of my uterus shedding its lining, because it's time for that to go. It's time, and my body's doing the thing that it knows how to do. My body's doing what it needs to do, and then it doesn't register as pain. It's more like, that's an interesting feeling. And it was the same with labor. So I did enough preparation, and the third baby, the labor didn't go the way I wanted it at all. But the cramps or the contractions, they went on for about a week. So the latent state of labor was very slow to progress, and it was not painful. And I'm absolutely serious. There was no pain. It gave me excitement. I'd done all this work about like feeling the sensations in my uterus and being like, oh yeah, the baby's going to be here soon. And it made me feel happy. It made me feel excited. And they didn't believe me, but like even when I was in the hospital, I was on the monitoring system by that point, and the baby's fetal heart rate was being monitored and blah blah blah. They're like, oh, you're contracting. I'm like, yeah, it's been going on for days. Every 10 minutes contracting. And it's the same thing of oh my god, I've lost the question. But yeah, can we change our relationship to the sensations or the input in the world around us, and can we stay curious? Because that's who you are authentically, right? Mm-hmm. You're interested in the world. You want to learn. You want to move towards that which interests you. And if you've lost that connection to what interests you, or you've lost that sense of curiosity, then you've lost your sense of play. You've lost your sense of joy. You've lost your sense of what it is. The best thing about being human is the daily experience of like right now I'm outside, I'm in the cold, but it's like, what does the cold feel like against my skin? Can I be curious about that instead of like, I'm so cold, I'm so grouchy and upset because I'm cold. So yeah, I think it's about that. I think it's about curiosity, And then when we can be curious, we can notice the small stuff and get the joy. You know, it's like stopping to smell the flowers or look at the bee, or, you know, where are those ants coming from? Instead of being like, there's ants. Like, what are the ants up to? And then maybe we can figure out, hold on, have I ever known who I am? Was at some point, was I told, stop asking questions, stop being so nosy? You know, as kids, this happens to us, like, sit still, be quiet, don't talk. But actually, kids, they need those questions answered because they're curious, and all of us should be encouraged to stay curious. Yeah, that's what I'm definitely, I've taught myself around in circles, but that's what I think it is.
Just to stay, just to actually appreciate the moment. Every single little thing around us is perhaps a good method or good starting point. So what's next for you? What are your plans? Apart from you doing your martial mental training thing and obviously teaching yoga, what's next for you?
So at the moment, I find it really hard to make any plans. You might be surprised, but that's the truth. I suffer from, I'm not even going to say suffer. So I've been interested in climate change in quite a big way since I was about 21. So now I'm 41, so that's about 20 years. And I went to this talk by this guy called Maya Hillman. It was like in 2002, and it's like why we must save the planet. And it was based on, you know, our individual actions and choices, like we have to stop flying, become vegan, and all of this. And I became quite a hard person to be around during my 20s because I took it literally, like to the letter. And I was like, right, so I stopped flying for 11 years. I became a raw vegan. So not just vegan, but raw vegan. I mean, that's intense, you know. So I was like, can't use electricity to cook food anymore. I was living in Kent with my boyfriend for a while. You know, we were growing our own food. I almost became like this old lady. And I think there was a lot of guilt there as well, because I felt like maybe when I was growing up, I hadn't been taught much about politics and blah, blah, blah. So it was almost like I went the other way. I went to the other extreme where all of my conversations were like political, and I felt like I had to be this eco warrior, blah, blah, blah. And then in my 30s, you know, I had my children, and it was about just getting by. You know, it was almost like I don't have the luxury of being an idealist anymore. And then at the end of my 30s, with the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, they released this thing in 2018 that says we've got 10 years for a system change. We've got 10 years. That's it. Mm-hmm. So then I felt a lot of guilt, like, man, I've taken my eye off the ball. I've got someone that's dealing with this. It hasn't happened. I felt a huge amount of personal guilt. And then I thought it was my problem to fix, which again, that's about ego. But because it is so bad now, and really all the mechanisms for change have to be put into place in the next 2 to 3 years, I find it impossible to see past the next month. It's been in the last year last 2 years, I suppose. I've had a lot of like dark times, you know, just a lot of crying and a lot of depression about climate collapse. And it's okay now. I tend at least to talk about it, and I can sort of bring it into conversation like I am now, without feeling like I'm going to be a freak and I don't want to be like the bringer of doom. And I still don't know how to be a good activist, and like I don't want to scare people, I don't want to freak people out. I need to also do the work on myself so that I'm not like angry about it all the time. But I find it really hard to make plans. So living day to day is actually really important for me, even more because it's all I've got. It's all we've got. All we've ever got is the present moment. Anything about the future is kind of a fantasy. And if we can be the best us right now in the moment and all those moments add together, then, you know, hopefully we'll have some kind of happy existence. And that's the best any of us can hope for. I have no freaking clue. I literally have got no freaking clue what's going to happen next. But, you know, the pandemic, I think, shook all of us. And we have a very precarious industry, being in a fitness industry. And we're freelance, and we rely on customers, and we rely on gyms being open, and we rely on members. And I couldn't teach from home. I couldn't have a business from home. It's not going to work for me. I don't have a big enough place where I live, and my children are around my ankles. I had to homeschool them, you know, all of that. And if that happens again, I don't, you know, I'll be back on. I was on benefits. We had to use food banks. It got pretty bad for us. Fell into poverty. And so I don't really want to think about it, because when I think about the future, like, I know there's more pandemics on the way. That's also what the science says, that it was one of many. There's lots of viruses that are ready to jump over to human beings all the time. And all we're doing is speeding up the rate of cutting down any wildlife that remains. There's only about like 2% of the planet left that has, you know, forest and wildlife. It's about like 98% of the planet is now either humans or farmed animals, and that increases the prevalence of things like pandemic. So I know it's gone a bit, maybe it sounds like negative, but it's not actually negative. It's like there's all of this stuff that my mind jumps to. It's like too big for me to cope with in a way. So I'm so grateful that I have like yoga, and I'm so grateful that I have the gym, and I have those real experiences of just being in my body and moving and breathing and being alive. And that's what's next. I'm just going to carry on doing that. I'm just going to carry on breathing and moving and having conversations and trying to be a good mom. That's what's next for me.
Great. And I think that's perfect. You know, people expect to give you a 5-year plan. No, not necessarily. So, you know, I'm very glad that you just pointed it out, and you just answered very honestly without this super ambitious, futuristic goals, plans, and what's going to happen. Because actually the last 2 years showed me what you think, Natalia, is going to happen. It not necessarily is in the world's plans. So, you know, I also stopped planning for the future, because several events in my life showed me that it was just a waste of time. And so I'd rather now try to be in the moment and maybe plan for the next week, 2 or a month, and then take it from there. Because life is just nonstop. And what we have planned, the God will love. You know, he might see something different out there, or the energy or the universe will be like, well, you plan your thing, but we already know what's going to happen, you know. So with that being said, I wanted to thank you for staying in the cold, talking to us and sharing your expertise, your experience, your knowledge. I think it's very beneficial, especially for all of us women out there to be very transparent with our experiences. So thank you for that.
It's such a pleasure. Thank you for asking me. Thank you for giving me this chance to talk. Thank you for listening to me. And I totally agree with you. We've got so much to share, and it feeds me when you share your experience with me, and I'm better for it. I feel like nourished when people share things from their life and from their experience. On the train, right, when I was coming here, I was thinking about values and things, and I'm thinking the most valuable stuff maybe any of us have is like culture, stories, history,
memories, experiences we've gone through. What's more valuable than this? You cannot buy it. No one can tell you about it, and you make this your own story. You only can live it and then have it as your wisdom. And wisdom is something more than intelligence or being smart or being educated. Wisdom is something that comes with time, with experiences, with connecting, interacting on any level with another human being. That's how you gain a wisdom. That, in my opinion, as much as I value education and knowledge and everything, that's something that you can have and be great on that side. But emotional wisdom or intelligence, spiritual, is something that doesn't come this easy. School of Life, it's called. The School of Life.
University of Life. School of Life, exactly. Yeah, I mean, imagine if our economy was based on that, If our economy was based on, wisdom and stories and culture, and it wasn't about extracting resources or things from people, but it's just about sharing.
Listen, you run back into that gym because you've been staying out for quite a while now. I don't want you to get sick because next week or in 2 weeks will be my last yoga, so I want you there. So run back in, and I will see you so soon and speak to you very soon. Thank you again.
Thank you for doing this, and thank you for having this platform, Natalia. Really appreciate you.
All
right.
Bye-bye.
And you, bye-bye.
And that was the end of part number 2 of this fantastic interview. Before we move on to our workout section, I would like you to listen to some of the great, valuable information from our station sponsors.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
How good are vitamin C supplements? Usually only a small proportion of vitamin C actually reaches your cells and has a positive effect. Whereas the high absorption levels of Goldman Laboratories liposomal vitamin C help maintain optimal vitamin C levels in your body and strengthen your immune system. Now get 10% off when you choose Goldman Laboratories liposomal vitamin C capsules. Just quote 10 off at goldmanlaboratories.com.
Do you suffer from pain? Pt2 Laser, a home-use CE-approved medical device for the effective treatment of pain, is now available in the UK. The results of a double-blind trial has shown that Pt2 Laser offers a significant reduction in pain compared to the placebo group. To get your special Pt2 offer now, call free on 0808 501 5122 or Google Radio Pro London. Pt2 Laser.
Pt2 Laser.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
Okay, team, so today our workout will be all about stretching our lower body. We will stretch our hamstring, shoulders, and quads. I will also upload the video for you to have reference. So my video will be outdoor where I use a tree, but you can do it indoor, outdoor, at the gym, wherever you would like. So first stretch, hamstring stretch. You're gonna place your feet against a wall or a tree, and you're gonna really press your body weight against that tree or a wall or whatever you are. Just make sure you really feel your hamstring stretch. You should be very close to your chest, your back leg straight on your toes, ball of your feet, and you should press entire body weight towards your front leg. Stay in that stretch for about 30 seconds. If you can stay longer, perfect. And after that, please switch sides. So make sure you work both sides equally. That's your number 1. Stretch number 2 is a shoulder stretch. You can do it again like myself, outdoor using a tree, or you can lie on the floor or use a wall. If you're at the gym, you can use a frame. You're gonna hold that frame or a tree with one hand, one shoulder, one side will be stretched at a time. So you fully rotate your body towards the opposite direction. Make sure your head is also looking towards the opposite direction. Stay tall. Make sure your hips and shoulders are square. Fully rotate. Stay in that position for 30 seconds. If you're on the floor, exactly the same rules apply. And then after 30 seconds, please make sure you switch sides. And the final stretch, we go for a quadricep stretch. So you can hold that leg with your hands, or you can use a tree like myself, or against the wall. The back foot is against the tree or wall, or you hold it in your hands. You squeezing your knees in, so knees are touching each other. Make sure your hips are square, belly button in, and stay nice and tall. If you have problem with balance, you can do it again against the wall. That will help you, or with the help of a tree like myself. Hold it there, and really you should feel that quadricep stretch. Once you finish on one side, switch it to the other side. It is very important, team, to after any type of workout you stretch, take some 5-10 minutes at least to stretch. Never leave your workout without stretches. You don't want any injuries. You do want to be able to do your workout following day. So make sure you do pay attention to your stretches. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you for working out, and I will see you next time. Even if it feels strange or unnatural, making time for yourself and your own happiness is important. These types of self-nurturing practices will give you strength and help you in difficult periods. They will help you keep a happy woman's face, no matter what you go through in life. Are you a happy woman? How do you make time for yourself while being a wife, a mother, a daughter, a professional? Here are some tips how to make yourself a happy woman. Nurture your interests. Our interests, hobbies, passions, and goals give us things to strive for that are just for us, and this helps us to be better. Keep your financial independence. Even if you don't strictly need to work, keeping some financial independence can be great for your confidence and self-esteem. Enjoy couple time. Making time to connect with your partner as a partner rather than a caretaker is an excellent opportunity to have fun and remember who you used to be. It can lead to a more fulfilling relationship in the long term. Invest in your friendships. Having a rich life of your own outside of the home is a great way to stay a happy woman. Try and make time for monthly pampering sessions with pals to stay a beautiful, happy woman you are. Take time alone. Alone time can help you to understand yourself and what you really want. It can help you think through decisions and reconnect with yourself. Those are just few tips that I thought might be very helpful. I hope you really enjoyed today's episode as well as our short workout together. Share with me your thoughts, comments, DM me with your life stories. If you have any questions or you would like me to talk about any particular subject, please contact me. Follow me on Instagram, fitnesswithNK, where you can leave your message. And make sure you visit my website, www.nataliakotowska.com, for more information. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time.